And I think that's something that a lot of Kenyans, a lot of Africans connect with, where they've never really seen games, specifically games that are familiar or similar to their experience, right? So started off playing games super young. I think very familiar to most passionate projects, where you enjoy playing it, you enjoy doing it, you enjoy being a part of it. And the big question or learning point was that there are many interesting games about different parts of the world. So playing GTA, Scarface, and you learn American culture and driving in big cities with tall skyscrapers. And then you come back to Nairobi, you come back to Kenya, and you're like, this is different from what I was just playing. And this sense of desire to play something that was familiar to your experience, right? Like the life you've lived, the places you've traveled to, etc. And I think that's something that a lot of Kenyans, a lot of Africans connect with, where they've never really seen games, specifically games that are familiar or similar to their experience, right? Sort of authentic. And we wanted to make something that's super authentic to our journey as Kenyans and Africans. That's a great question. So Kunta Content came second, Hero came first. So the idea of the game was first. In fact, technically it was about 11 years ago when you had the original idea for the game. Then shelved it a little, worked on other projects, creative projects, but there was always that desire to get back into games, and finally got the opportunity to do that. And as we started fleshing out Hero and doing some prototypes, everyone kept asking us, so what's the name of the studio, right? And we started thinking about how that would look like, what it would represent, and that's how Kunta Content came up. Yeah. I think, yes, we are making African games. What's unique about us in that aspect is that we're making ambitious African games. So not only do we want to make African games, we want to make really beautiful, high-performing, super well-built African games, right? And the reason for that is there are a few other African studios that are doing amazing work, but we feel there is a gap in the high-quality PC console, very ambitious 4K level game, right? And from our journey, it's clear that the players also connect with that, right? And that's something we are very proud to represent and to try to achieve. So games are a unique design challenge, and specifically because they're interactive, in that someone is sitting down playing, you have a unique responsibility as a designer. How you curate that experience that someone will experience individually, right? Or without your direct input. And that's a bit different from most other areas of design, where you have a significant amount of control, right? So if it's a film, if it's music, you've basically controlled 90+% of it, right? Versus with a game, it is about 50-60%. So it's a unique design decision.
Maybe you want them to go straight, but they decide to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And how do you decide to redirect them, for example, right? Do you do a hard redirect where you say you can only do this? Or do you do a soft one where there are obstacles, there are different things that they won't experience if they do certain things? So it's an interesting design world that games live in. And it's in certain ways, I think, connected to how humans live, where your average, let's say, architect has certain design limitations that are similar to games, in that there's an interactivity element, right? Or the same thing with just really anyone designing in the real world. You have a certain level of freedom, but also certain, let me just say, limits, right? And barriers that you can't really touch. I think the biggest goal is to have more in-person interaction with people who either are familiar with our game or people who are new to games in general. So we've, I think, done a fairly good job on social media and digitally. A lot of people know us, follow us, engage with us, etc. But there's a gap that exists between that and the real world, right? And we really wanted to bridge that. We do want to anchor our work more and more in creative spaces. So meet other designers, other creatives, other people who are building. And Nairobi Design Week is a really interesting pathway to that.
What do you think will capture people, make people want to buy this one?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. To be honest, it evolves and I think it gets better over time. So the story is you play as hero, Maasai warrior, fighting poachers, protecting your cattle from rustlers, and going on this epic journey across Africa, rescuing your sister, right? So it's a very human story. Within that, there are a lot of different elements that Africans, Black people over the world will connect to. And that's that friction between the past, aka where we are from, our history, our culture, and the future, right? Modernity, moving forward, building a better life for ourselves, and so on. And I think the game captures that and touches on that in many interesting ways.
So,
Yeah.
what are you saving up for?
Yeah, I will not spoil everything, but I'll give direction. So your sister gets kidnapped by poachers, right? I won't go too deep into who the poachers are and what's the structure of how that world works, because you experience that in the game. But I think the keen insight there is Africa and the Black world has had many interactions with other people from other parts of the world. And I think there's a unique exploration there as to how we engage back, right? So there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of excitement into Africa, and it has been for hundreds of years. There's less, I think, focus on how we engage back with the rest of the world, right? What's the thought process? Yes. Yeah. So what's our strategy? What do we want to do? What do we want to achieve? That's interesting to explore. And I know specifically around the sister, it forces you to come to terms with that, right? And I think it creates a unique, again, design decision as to how the player makes that decision and follows through, right? And there are a few scenarios where the player can make semi-permanent decisions as to how they deal with certain opponents, right? Is this an extreme decision? Is this a balanced decision? What are you going to do, right? Are you going to destroy? Are you going to nurture?
So there's different points of the story where you can make different decisions that
Yes.
affect how they game.
Yes. Yeah.
Now with regards to Kunta Content, what are you excited about for that?
I think we've had a really exciting journey so far, like incredibly exciting. I'm most excited for more people to play what we've been building, and not just Hero, a few of the other games, and being in that space where there's really direct, really strong communication back and forth on the things we've built, right? We've been fortunate to do a lot of interesting projects that a few people have played, and we are super excited to continue to expand that, right? And one of the unique goals we have is how many thousands, how many millions of people can experience our games and give us feedback, and we use that to improve, right? So creating that cycle is super exciting for us.
Whoever wants to be part of the journey or to interact with the products, where can we find you?
So we are super active on social media. So Kunta Content on all platforms, Hero the game on all platforms. You can join our wait list. You can join some of our playtests. It's generally a really interesting exploration for most people. Yeah.
When do you have a date when you want to release your
So we expect to release a few games before Hero, but we plan to release Hero in 2027.
or just a year? To
Yes.
go? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to you too. Thank you. Okay. Cheers. That was fun. That was interesting. I hope audio iko sawa. I hope kila kitu iko sawa.